Every park has a story, and every story has a legacy. Welcome to Legacy Parks on the Daily Parks and Rec Show. This is our host, Richard Bienvenu, and we're live every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Together, we'll explore the history, impact, and lasting legacy of the parks that have shaped our communities for generations. We'll uncover the stories, people, and moments that make this park truly unforgettable. Legacy Parks, where every park tells a story. In this episode, we explore 7 remarkable East Coast parks and the history, people, and vision behind these treasured community spaces.
All right, we are live again with another edition of Legacy Parks that just keeps getting better with every Monday as Richard and Jovi kind of find their bearings on creating kind of long form documentaries about all the great legacy parks throughout the country. So, what do you have in store for us today, Richard?
Well, today we are doing the great parks of the East Coast. And, you know, so this has really been interesting because we actually went to Canada, first time going to Canada, and found some very interesting parts. And that's a very nice art card you've done there, Joby. Thanks so much. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, that's nice.
What's interesting is how did Montreal get its name? So let's talk about what do a mountain in the middle of Montreal, a historic square in Philadelphia, and a waterfront park in New York, and a cherry blossom paradise in Newark have in common? Well, they all tell a story about the cities and the people who created them. So in this episode of the Legacy Parks of America, we're heading to the East Coast to explore 7 parks that couldn't be more different. And some go back hundreds of years, which I think is really amazing. And others are much more recent. Some were designed as grand landscapes, where others grew out of an effort to reclaim land and reconnect a city with its waterfront. You know, that's one of the themes that we've seen a lot of in the past few weeks in these urban parks, is that a lot of these areas had gone to basically rack and ruin, or the waterfront was all covered up with industrial stuff. And the city fathers got together and said, you know what, let's do something and bring back our waterfront. So we'll begin in Montreal with Mount Royal Park, which is kind of a clue how Montreal got its name. It's the great urban landscape designed by our famous Frederick Law Olmsted. And then we'll head over to south to Philadelphia and Rittenhouse Square, one of William Penn's original public squares, and a place that has been part of city life for more than 3 centuries. And you know, from there we're going to go over to Battery Park, and it is at the southern tip of Manhattan. I didn't know they had a park at the southern tip of Manhattan, where the story of New York, immigration, and New York Harbor all come together. Then it's on to Newark and Branch Brook Park. It's famous for its spectacular collection of cherry trees and its connection to the Olmsted tradition. And you know, this park actually has more cherry trees in it than Washington, D.C. does. And also we'll travel south to Richmond, Virginia, and Maymont. It's a remarkable Gilded Age estate that became a public treasure. And then we'll head north to Providence, Rhode Island, where we'll explore Roger Williams Park, created from a generous gift more than 150 years ago. And then finally, we're going to end up and stay in Providence for the Waterplace Park, where a forgotten and buried waterfront was transformed into one of the city's most celebrated public spaces. So we got 7 parks, and we got 7 very different stories. And there's something that they all have in common, and these aren't simply places where we go to walk, relax, and enjoy a beautiful view. They're places that tell us something about the cities that built them, and about the people who believed that beautiful public spaces were worth creating and preserving. So let's take a trip up and down the East Coast and see what makes these beautiful parks part of America's legacy. Did you know that an entire city got its name from a single mountain? Well, standing at the center of Montreal, Mount Royal has been the city's defining landmark for nearly 5 centuries. Long before skyscrapers filled the skyline or neighborhoods spread across the island, this wooded mountain served as a natural beacon for explorers and settlers. Today, it remains the green heart of one of North America's most vibrant cities. The story begins in 1535 when French explorer Jacques Cartier climbed this mountain and named it Montreal, Royal Mountain. Over time, the name evolved into Montreal. As the city grew during the 19th century, civic leaders feared that unchecked development would destroy the mountain's forests and open spaces. Instead, they made the visionary decision to preserve it as a public park for everyone to enjoy. To bring that vision to life, Montreal hired Frederick Law Olmsted, already celebrated for designing New York's Central Park and numerous parks around the country. Rather than creating formal gardens or grand monuments, Olmsted believed people should experience nature as naturally as possible. His design embraced winding roads, wooded paths, quiet clearings, and carefully framed vistas that reveal the mountain a little at a time. Creating a park on a mountainside required remarkable engineering. Workers carefully carved roads into the hills, built overlooks, improved drainage, and planted thousands of trees while preserving much of the mountain's natural landscape. Every detail reflected Olmsted's belief that parks should provide a peaceful escape where city residents could restore both body and mind. The park's signature destination is the Condillac Belvedere, one of Canada's most breathtaking urban overlooks. From this terrace, visitors enjoy sweeping views of downtown Montreal, the St. Lawrence River, and distant mountains beyond. Whether it's your first visit or your 100th, the view has a remarkable way of stopping you in your tracks. Beyond the famous overlook lies a park filled with discovery. Beaver Lake provides a peaceful and gathering place surrounded by forests and trails where walkers, runners, and cyclists enjoy every season. In winter, snow blankets the mountain, transforming it into a favorite destination for skating, cross-country skiing, and snowshoeing. Mount Royal is truly a park for all seasons. Mount Royal is more than beautiful scenery. It is one of Montreal's favorite gathering places. Every Sunday, the famous Tam Tams drumming circle fills part of the mountain with music, dancing, and laughter. Families picnic beneath towering trees, while hikers, bird watchers, photographers, and visitors from around the world share this remarkable public space, creating a living tradition that reflects Montreal's diverse culture. Protecting a park this popular is an ongoing challenge. Heavy visitation, invasive plants, aging trees, and the pressures of urban growth require constant care. Through restoration projects, dedicated volunteers, and careful stewardship, Montreal continues to preserve Olmsted's vision while ensuring the mountain remains healthy for future generations. More than 150 years after the park opened, Mount Royal still defines Montreal. It offers millions of residents and visitors a place to exercise, reflect, celebrate, and reconnect with nature without ever leaving the city. It stands as one of Frederick Law Olmsted's greatest achievements and remains a powerful reminder that preserving natural beauty is one of the greatest gifts a city can give its people. As the sun sets over Montreal and the lights of the city begin to sparkle below, it's easy to understand why Mount Royal has captured people's imagination for generations. More than just a park, it is the soul of the city, a timeless sanctuary where history, nature, and community come together high above the streets of Montreal. Some parks are simply places to pass through. Others become the very heart of a city. For more than 3 centuries, Rittenhouse Square has been Philadelphia's outdoor living room, a place where history, beauty, and everyday life have come together beneath the shade of old-growth trees. While the city around it has constantly changed, this beloved square has remained one of Philadelphia's most treasured gathering places. The story begins in 1682 when William Penn laid out his vision for Philadelphia. Unlike most cities of the time, Penn believed people needed open spaces as well as streets and buildings. He designed 5 public squares to provide fresh air, recreation, and beauty. One of those original squares eventually became Rittenhouse Square, making it one of the oldest planned public parks in the United States. During its early years, the square was little more than open land on the edge of town. But as Philadelphia expanded, wealthy families built magnificent homes around its borders. Landscape gardens replaced rough fields, graceful walkways were added, and the square evolved into one of the city's most fashionable neighborhoods while remaining open to everyone. Today, every corner of Rittenhouse Square reflects thoughtful design. Large old-growth trees provide welcome shade, colorful gardens bloom throughout the season, and inviting benches encourage visitors to slow down and enjoy their surroundings. Elegant fountains and sculptures add character, making the square feel both sophisticated and welcoming at the same time. What makes Rittenhouse Square truly special isn't just its beauty, it's the people. On any given day, you'll find office workers enjoying lunch, children chasing pigeons, musicians entertaining passers-by, artists sketching beneath the trees, and neighbors simply relaxing with a good book. It has become Philadelphia's outdoor living room, welcoming everyone regardless of age or background. Every season brings a different personality to the square. Spring fills the gardens with vibrant color. Summer brings outdoor concerts and lively gatherings. Autumn paints the trees in brilliant shades of gold and crimson, while winter transforms the park into a peaceful retreat surrounded by twinkling holiday lights. Few urban parks change so beautifully with the seasons. Throughout the year, Rittenhouse Square hosts art festivals, cultural events, and community celebrations that draw visitors from across the region. These traditions have helped make the square not only a beautiful park, but also one of Philadelphia's most important cultural gathering places, where creativity and community continue to thrive. Keeping a historic park beautiful takes constant attention. City staff, dedicated volunteers, and local organizations work year-round to maintain the gardens, preserve mature trees, restore historic features, and ensure the square remains as inviting today as it was generations ago. Their efforts protect an important piece of Philadelphia's heritage. More than 300 years after William Penn first imagined this public space, Rittenhouse Square continues to fulfill its remarkable vision. It reminds us that great cities are not defined only by their buildings, but by the places where people gather, celebrate, relax, and connect with one another. It remains one of America's finest examples of a public square that has never lost its purpose. As evening settles over Philadelphia, Rittenhouse Square becomes even more peaceful. The fading sunlight filters through the trees, conversations grow quieter, and the city gently surrounds this timeless green oasis. More than 3 centuries after it was first envisioned, Rittenhouse Square remains exactly what William Penn hoped it would be, a beautiful place where nature, community, and city life exist in perfect harmony. Some parks become famous because they're beautiful. Others become famous because history happened there. Battery Park is both. For nearly 400 years, this remarkable waterfront has welcomed explorers, defended a growing city, greeted millions of immigrants, and offered New Yorkers a peaceful place to enjoy one of the world's most spectacular harbors. Battery Park's story begins in the early 1600s, when this area marked the southern tip of the Dutch settlement known as New Amsterdam. The park takes its name from the artillery batteries once positioned here to defend the young colony. Cannons overlook the harbor, protecting one of North America's busiest ports and helping shape the future of what would become New York City. One of the park's oldest landmarks is Castle Clinton. Originally built as a military fort, it never fired a shot in battle, but soon found new purposes. Over the years, it became a popular entertainment venue and later served as America's first official immigration station, welcoming more than 8 million immigrants between 1855 and 1890 before immigration processing moved to Ellis Island. It even housed the New York Aquarium for many years. Few buildings in America have served so many different roles while remaining at the center of public life. Today, Battery Park blends history with natural beauty. Wide promenades, colorful gardens, public art, and shady pathways invite visitors to slow their pace while ferries glide across the harbor. Looking out across the water, it's easy to appreciate why generations of New Yorkers have come here to escape the noise and energy of the city just beyond the trees. For millions of visitors, Battery Park serves as the gateway to two of America's most treasured landmarks, the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. Every day, ferries depart from the park carrying passengers eager to explore the stories of freedom, immigration, and hope that help define the nation. In many ways, every visit to these landmarks begins right here. Battery Park is far more than a tourist destination. Office workers enjoy lunch beneath its trees, families gather along the waterfront, musicians entertain passers-by, and joggers follow paths overlooking the river. The park remains a favorite meeting place where residents and visitors alike share the same breathtaking views of New York Harbor. The park also serves as a place of remembrance. Its monuments honor soldiers, explorers, immigrants, and those whose lives have shaped the city's remarkable history. These memorials remind visitors that Battery Park is not simply a beautiful landscape, but a living museum where every path tells another chapter of New York's story. Like many waterfront parks, Battery Park faces ongoing challenges from storms and the demands of millions of annual visitors. Restoration projects, shoreline improvements, and careful landscape management continue to strengthen the park while preserving its historic character for future generations. Few parks have witnessed as much history as Battery Park. From Dutch colonists to modern travelers, from military defenses to immigration, from quiet gardens to bustling ferry terminals, this remarkable waterfront has remained one of New York City's most important public spaces. It stands as a reminder that great cities are shaped as much by their parks as by their buildings. As the sun sinks behind New York Harbor, Battery Park becomes a place of quiet reflection. The skyline begins to sparkle, ferries glide across the water, and Lady Liberty watches over the harbor just as she has for generations. It is a fitting sunset for a park where the story of New York, and in many ways the story of America, continues to unfold every single day. There are parks that become famous for their history. And then there are others that are remembered for a single breathtaking moment each year. Every spring, Branch Brook Park is transformed into a sea of pink and white blossoms, creating one of the most spectacular displays of flowering cherry trees anywhere in the world. Yet, this remarkable park is much more than a springtime attraction. It's a story of vision, beauty, and renewal. By the late 19th century, Newark had grown into one of America's busiest industrial cities. Civic leaders recognized the need for large public green spaces where families could escape crowded streets and factories. In 1895, Branch Brook Park became the first park in what would become America's first county park system, setting a new standard for public recreation and conservation that communities across the nation would later follow. The park's design was entrusted to the Olmsted Brothers, the landscape architecture firm founded by the sons of Frederick Law Olmsted. Interestingly, Olmsted himself had recommended preserving this land decades earlier. Following his philosophy, the Olmsted Brothers created broad meadows, graceful waterways, rolling hills, and gently curving roads that made visitors feel as though they had stepped into the countryside instead of remaining in the middle of a busy city. Branch Brook Park stretches for more than 360 acres, offering lakes, streams, athletic fields, picnic areas, and miles of scenic pathways. Elegant stone bridges cross peaceful waterways, while mature trees provide welcome shade throughout the year. Every turn reveals another carefully designed landscape that encourages visitors to slow down and enjoy nature. The park's greatest claim to fame is its extraordinary collection of cherry trees. Thanks largely to the efforts of philanthropist Caroline Bamberger Fuld, thousands of Japanese cherry trees were planted here during the early 20th century. Today, Branch Brook Park is home to more cherry trees. Today, Branch Brook Park is home to more cherry blossom trees than Washington, D.C., attracting visitors from around the world during its annual Cherry Blossom Festival. While spring may draw the largest crowds, Branch Brook Park remains active throughout the year. Joggers follow its winding trails, cyclists enjoy scenic roadways, children explore playgrounds, and families gather for festivals, concerts, and outdoor recreation. It continues to serve exactly the purpose its designers intended, a beautiful place where nature and community come together. As the seasons change, so does the character of the park. Summer fills its meadows with activities, autumn paints the landscape in brilliant shades of gold and crimson, and winter reveals the graceful beauty of its bridges and waterways. No matter the season, Branch Brook Park offers a peaceful escape from the surrounding city. Maintaining thousands of flowering trees requires constant dedication. Arborists, volunteers, and park staff work year-round to preserve the cherry blossoms, restore historic features, improve waterways, and care for aging trees. Their commitment ensures that future generations will continue to experience one of America's most beautiful springtime displays. More than a century after it first opened, Branch Brook Park remains one of Newark's greatest treasures. It stands as a lasting tribute to thoughtful landscape design, community pride, and the enduring beauty of nature. Every spring, its blossoms remind us that even in the heart of a busy city, beauty has the power to inspire and bring people together. As the last rays of sunlight filter through the beautiful cherry trees, Branch Brook Park reminds us that nature has a remarkable way of bringing people together. For more than a century, families have walked these paths, admired these blossoms, and created memories beneath these very same trees. Thanks to the vision of its designers and the dedication of those who care for it today, this remarkable park continues to bloom season after season, generation after generation. There are parks that begin with a city's vision, and then there are others that begin with a family's dream. Maymont is one of those rare places where a magnificent private estate became a priceless public treasure. Today, nearly a century after opening to the public, visitors can still experience the beauty, elegance, and generosity that made this one of Virginia's most beloved parks. The story of Maymont begins with James and Sally Dooley, one of Richmond's most prominent families. In 1886, they purchased more than 100 acres overlooking the James River and built a spectacular Gilded Age estate unlike anything else in the city. Their home reflected the wealth and elegance of the era, but it was the surrounding landscape that truly set Maymont apart. The Dooleys transformed this property into a masterpiece of landscape design. Formal Italian gardens overlooked the rolling hills, while a peaceful Japanese garden introduced visitors to a style that was still uncommon in America. Winding paths, quiet lakes, decorative bridges, and carefully planted trees created a landscape where every turn revealed another beautiful view. Walking through Maymont feels like exploring several parks in one. Visitors can stroll beneath old-growth trees, pause beside cascading waterfalls, admire colorful flower beds, and cross graceful stone bridges connecting one garden to another. Each area offers its own unique character while blending naturally into the surrounding landscape. At the center of the estate stands the beautifully preserved Maymont Mansion. Carefully restored to reflect life at the turn of the 20th century, it offers visitors a fascinating glimpse into the lives of the Dooley family and the people who work there. Today, the mansion and its grounds provide one of the finest surviving examples of a Gilded Age country estate in the United States. Maymont has evolved far beyond its original purpose as a private estate. Families now enjoy wildlife exhibits, a nature center, children's farm, carriage collection, educational programs, and wide open spaces perfect for picnics and leisurely walks. It has become a place where history, education, and recreation come together for visitors of every age. Every season brings a fresh perspective to Maymont. Spring fills the gardens with vibrant blossoms. Summer blankets the ground in lush greenery. Autumn transforms the hillsides into brilliant shades of red and gold. And winter reveals the quiet elegance of its historic landscape. No matter the time of year, Maymont offers a different reason to return. Preserving an historic estate of this size requires constant dedication. Skilled gardeners, preservation specialists, volunteers, and staff work throughout the year to care for the gardens, restore historic buildings, maintain the collections, and protect the natural beauty that makes Maymont so special. Their efforts ensure that this remarkable gift continues to inspire future generations. Nearly a century after the Dooley family bequeathed Maymont to the people of Richmond, their remarkable gift continues to enrich countless lives. What was once a private retreat has become one of Virginia's most treasured public parks, where history, architecture, gardens, and nature come together in one unforgettable setting. As daylight fades across the gardens, it's easy to imagine why the Dooley family loved this place so deeply. Today, the laughter of children, the quiet footsteps of visitors, and the beauty of these gardens tell a different story, one of a private estate that became a public treasure. Few gifts have enriched a city as generously as Maymont continues to enrich Richmond. There are some parks that are created for recreation, and then there are others created to leave a legacy. Roger Williams Park is both. More than 150 years after its creation, this magnificent landscape continues to welcome generations of Rhode Islanders seeking beauty, adventure, and a peaceful escape from city life. It's a park not just for its own time, but for every generation that would follow. The story begins with a remarkable gift. In 1871, Betsy Williams, a descendant of Providence founder Roger Williams, donated more than 100 acres of farmland to the city. Her wish was simple yet profound, that the land always remain a public park where everyone could enjoy its beauty. That generous gift became the foundation of one of New England's finest urban parks. To transform that generous gift into a lasting public treasure, the city turned to renowned landscape architect Horace William Shaler Cleveland. Rather than imposing formal European gardens on the property, Cleveland embraced the land's natural beauty. Curving roads, peaceful lakes, wooded hills, and broad meadows invited visitors to experience nature as though it had always been there. Today, Roger Williams Park covers more than 400 acres filled with scenic lakes, shaded pathways, elegant bridges, and beautifully landscaped gardens. Whether strolling beneath towering trees or relaxing beside the water, visitors quickly discover why this park has remained one of Rhode Island's favorite destinations for generations. Roger Williams Park offers far more than beautiful scenery. It is home to the nation's third oldest zoo, an impressive botanical center filled with tropical plants, the Museum of Natural History, and the historic casino overlooking the lake. Together, these attractions make the park a place where recreation, education, and discovery all come together. Every day, families gather here to picnic, paddle across the lakes, ride bicycles, attend festivals, and simply enjoy time together outdoors. Children discover wildlife, photographers capture reflections on the water, and neighbors greet one another along winding pathways. Roger Williams Park has become part of the rhythm of everyday life in Providence. No matter the season, the park reveals a different personality. Spring awakens thousands of flowering plants. Summer fills the gardens with vibrant color. Autumn paints the landscape in brilliant golds and reds. And winter blankets the grounds in quiet beauty. Every visit offers something new to experience. Caring for a park of this size requires ongoing commitment. Dedicated staff, volunteers, and preservation organizations work throughout the year to restore these historic structures and improve the lakes, care for thousands of trees and flowers, and ensure that the park continues to reflect the vision of its original benefactor. More than 150 years after Betsy Williams made her remarkable gift, Roger Williams Park remains one of Providence's greatest treasures. It stands as a lasting reminder that one person's generosity can enrich an entire community for generations, creating a place where history, learning, recreation, and nature continue to flourish together. And as the sun slips below the horizon, the lakes become mirrors and the gardens grow still and the city begins to glow beyond the trees. It's a fitting way to leave Roger Williams Park, a place born from generosity, shaped by inspired design, and enjoyed every day by people who may never realize they're walking through one of New England's greatest gifts to the public. You know, there are some parks that preserve history, and then there are others that actually help make history. Waterplace Park did something few parks have ever accomplished. It helped bring an entire downtown back to life. What was once hidden beneath roads and rail lines has become one of America's most remarkable examples of urban renewal. For much of the 20th century, the rivers flowing through downtown Providence had been confined beneath railroad tracks, bridges, and other transportation infrastructure, leaving much of the waterfront hidden from public view. As the city grew, people gradually lost their connection to the rivers that helped shape Providence from its earliest days. Everything began to change during the 1980s and reached its full realization in the 1990s. In one of the most ambitious urban renewal projects in New England, engineers relocated railroad tracks, uncovered the historic rivers, built graceful pedestrian walkways, and created Waterplace Park. Instead of designing the city around automobiles, planners once again placed people and the waterfront at the center of downtown life. Today, Waterplace Park stretches along the Woonsoquatucket and Providence rivers, offering tree-lined walkways, attractive gardens, elegant bridges, and inviting terraces overlooking the water. Every path encourages visitors to slow down, explore, and experience the city from an entirely different perspective. The park became internationally famous through Waterfire, an unforgettable public art installation created by artist Barnaby Evans. On selected evenings throughout the year, more than 80 bonfires are lit across the river while music fills the air and small boats tend the flames. The event attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors and has become one of Rhode Island's most recognizable cultural traditions. Even when Waterfire isn't taking place, the park remains full of life. Office workers enjoy lunch beside the river, couples stroll beneath shaded bridges, and cyclists follow the waterfront paths, and families gather to enjoy festivals, concerts, and community events. Waterplace Park has become the city's front porch, a place where residents and visitors naturally come together. The park also serves as a showcase for Providence itself. Historic buildings stand beside modern architecture, public art blends with natural scenery, and every bridge offers another view worth stopping to admire. Few parks demonstrate so beautifully how thoughtful planning can reconnect a city with its own history. Keeping Waterplace Park vibrant requires constant attention. City crews and community organizations and volunteers maintain the landscaping, preserve the riverwalks, care for the bridges, and prepare the park for the many events that fill its calendar throughout the year. Their work ensures that this remarkable public space continues to thrive. In just a few decades, Waterplace Park has become one of the defining landmarks of Providence. It demonstrates how bold ideas, careful planning, and respect for a city's natural landscape can transform neglected spaces into destinations that inspire civic pride and attract visitors from around the world. As the sky darkens and the first flames begin dancing across the river, Waterplace Park reveals why great public spaces matter. They invite us to slow down, look around, and see our cities in a different way. Here in Providence, a forgotten waterfront became a place where people gather, celebrate, and simply enjoy being together. A transformation as remarkable as the park itself.
Man, great job. That was fantastic. Good job, Jovi.
Yeah, Joey, that was great.
Yeah.
Great photos. Great selection.
Yeah, I'm writing down my bucket list now of all the parks I want to go visit.
So, we got 7 parks and we got 7 very different stories. And we've traveled from the slopes of Montreal to the streets of Philadelphia. And I bet you didn't know how Montreal got its name. And that was a very interesting revelation to me when I was doing this. And so from the streets of Philadelphia, from New York Harbor to the cherry trees of Newark, and from the gardens of Richmond to the lakes and rivers of Providence. And some of these parks, they've been around for centuries, and others are much newer. But each one shows us what can happen when a city decides that open space, beauty, and places for people to gather are worth protecting. And that's really what these parks are all about. They're not just pieces of land surrounded by buildings. They're part of the history of the communities around them. And they've witnessed generations come and go, and they've changed with the cities, and in many cases, they've helped change those cities themselves. That's why we call this series Legacy Parks of America. The park's legacy isn't simply the landscape we see today, it's the decision somebody made years ago to create, protect it, or bring it back when it had been forgotten. And hopefully, long after we're gone, people will still be walking those paths, sitting beside those lakes, watching those sunsets, and wondering about the people who made these places possible. And that's the real legacy of a great park.
Yeah, fantastic. So what do y'all have planned for any thoughts for next week, sir?
Oh, not yet.
Not yet. I can't wait to see what y'all come up with.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll pick something. We're going to pick something. We always do interesting stuff. So,
yeah, you could do one like on the desert communities in like Nevada and New Mexico, Arizona.
Okay, that'll be the next one.
And then you could also do something for like the southern part, kind of like we have in in our backyard, Audubon Park and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Jovi, you can go ahead and pull up Justin's promo whenever that's ready. Following this show, typically we have Practical Leadership, and Justin is the previous commissioner of Atlanta, Georgia, and he recently retired, but has just got a wealth of knowledge about creating teams in Parks and Rec and Practical Leadership, and he's been doing a show with us every Monday following Richard's show. And so stay tuned. That's coming up in about an hour, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to learn more about just how Justin led his teams and everything he's learned over the years, I think it's going to be very valuable for anybody, any director of a Parks and Rec department, as they kind of also seek to build their team and hopefully deploy a lot of Justin's wisdom that he's gained over an entire career. But I think that's all we have for y'all today. I really appreciate y'all coming and tuning into the Legacy Parks show. Jovi and Richard are two artists that are coming together to make this show, and we finally got the brochures ready. So we have a lot of departments that are very interested in us creating documentary style content to kind of cover their parks. A lot of the ones that I'd love to do one episode just on each of the parks that you've covered, because I know there's so much more history there that we could go into.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that'd be fun. That'd be good. Jovi, thank you. You did a great job this time.
Yeah, good job, guys. All right, well, we'll see y'all again next week. Thank y'all for tuning in today, and we'll see y'all here again next Monday.
All right.
Y'all take care,
Adios.
guys.
Not every mission happens behind a desk. Some happen in the places where our freedom is defended. This is the front line, where service meets reality, readiness requires resilience, and impact is measured in people, not headlines. We talk with the men and women who support our military communities, the leaders, responders, and recreation professionals who create spaces where service members and their families can recharge, connect, and stay strong. From fitness and recreation to community programs that strengthen the total force at home and abroad, we share the stories, the challenges, and the purpose that keeps them going. Welcome to On the Front Line, the Military Rec Show, hosted by John Prue. Real people, real stories, real service. This is where it begins.
In the parks and recreation industry, attention is limited, but influence is everything. Every day, thousands of parks and recreation professionals make critical decisions. Decisions on infrastructure, programs, technology, and vendors. The question is your brand part of that conversation? DPRS Media Network was built to answer that question. We are a dedicated media ecosystem focused exclusively on the parks and recreation industry in the United States. Through a network of daily and weekly shows, we inform, connect, and influence this audience. Our distribution spans multiple platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, plus email campaigns, newsletters, podcasts, and live event coverage. This is not a single-channel strategy. It is a multi-platform media engine. Today, our network reaches over 214,000 connections, including 51,000 on LinkedIn, 64,000 on Facebook, nearly 40,000 email subscribers, and thousands more across podcast and social platforms. While some audiences overlap, our true value is not just reach, it is relevance. We speak directly to parks and recreation directors, program managers, and industry leaders, an audience that is highly targeted and actively engaged. Through DPRS Media Network, your brand integrates seamlessly into this ecosystem. Through sponsored show segments, targeted advertisement placements, podcast features, and host-read promotions, even custom-branded content. Not as interruptions, but as part of the conversation. And we don't just operate online. We attend over 15 major parks and recreation conventions each year, reaching more than 24,000 professionals in person. Through live shows, interviews, and on-site media coverage, we position our partners at the center of the industry. Every piece of content we produce is amplified across our entire network. Multiple shows, multiple hosts, multiple platforms. Your message doesn't appear once, it multiplies. This is more than advertising. It is strategic positioning within a trusted media network built specifically for the parks and recreation industry. If your goal is to reach decision makers, build credibility, and stay top of mind, then it's time to partner with DPRS Media Network. Apply for partnership or sponsorship today. Let's position your brand where the industry is already paying attention.